Most men spend their entire lives begging. They beg for attention, they beg for validation, and they beg for respect. They believe that if they dress better, speak louder, or act more aggressively, the world will finally grant them the status they crave. They are wrong. Respect is not a gift. It is a response to an internal state. The most respected person in any room is rarely the loudest. It is the person who is most in control of their own internal mechanisms. When you master your impulses, you emit a silent frequency that others instinctively recognize as authority. This is natural respect. It is a gravitational pull created by the density of your character. In this exploration, we are going to look beneath the surface of social interaction. We will dismantle the myth of alpha aggression and replace it with the reality of self-sovereignty. You will learn why your ability to say no to yourself is more impressive than your ability to say no to others. We are building the foundation of a man who does not need to speak to be heard. Welcome back to the inner Citadel. Why does a lack of self-control kill respect instantly? Because reactivity is a signal of weakness. When you react to a slight, an insult, or an inconvenience, you are telling the world that your internal peace is for sale, and it's cheap. You are showing that anyone can rent space in your head for the price of a single provocation. Natural respect is born in the vacuum. When a normal person is provoked, they explode. When a person of self-control is provoked, there is a delay, a silence, a void. This vacuum is terrifying to others. It suggests that you operate on a level they cannot reach. They expect to see you flinch, but you remain as still as a deep lake. By refusing to be reactive, you create a status gap. You are the rock. They are the waves. Eventually, the waves exhaust themselves, but the rock remains. People do not respect the wave. They respect the thing the wave cannot move. Self-control is the art of becoming immovable. We live in an age of instant gratification. The modern world is a machine designed to keep you in a state of constant, low-level impulse. See an ad, buy the product. Feel a spark of anger, post a comment. Feel a moment of boredom, check your phone. The average man is a slave to his urges. He is led by his stomach, his pride, and his dopamine receptors. When people look at a man who cannot control his impulses, they do not see a leader. They see a child in a grown man's body. There is no mystery, no weight, and no authority in a man who says yes to every whim. Self-control is the act of internal insurrection. It is the moment you look at a craving, a fear, or a temptation and say, "I hear you, but I do not obey you." This internal discipline is visible to the outside world. It manifests in the way you stand, the way you look at people, and the way you handle pressure. Natural respect is the shadow cast by your internal discipline. If you want the shadow to be large, the fire of your discipline must burn bright. Speed is often a symptom of anxiety. When you move fast, talk fast, and react fast, you are signaling to the world that you are under pressure. You are telling everyone that you are fighting to keep up with the environment. Natural respect, however, belongs to the man who makes the environment keep up with him. The slow man is not slow because he is lazy. He is slow because he is deliberate. Every movement is a choice. Every word is weighted. When you slow down your physical tempo, you are demonstrating a profound level of self-control. You are showing that you have mastered your nervous system's urge to rush. In a social setting, the person with the most power is usually the one moving the least. They don't fidget. They don't adjust their clothes every 10 seconds. They don't look around the room as if searching for an exit. They occupy their space with a heavy, calm stillness. This slowness creates an aura of inevitability. People begin to feel that your actions are premeditated and absolute. By controlling your speed, you control the perception of your status. Most people are terrified of silence. For them, a gap in conversation is a social failure that must be fixed immediately. They fill the silence with ums, ahs, and useless small talk. They do this because they cannot control the internal discomfort that silence creates. A man of self-control views silence differently. He sees it as a tactical vacuum. When you refuse to fill a silence, you are putting the psychological burden on the other person. You are forcing them to decide how to proceed. This is where natural respect is forged. If someone asks you a question or makes a comment, wait 2 seconds before you answer. Don't rush to prove you have an answer. Let the silence hang for a moment. This brief pause signals that you are processing information through a filter of logic, not just reacting with your vocal cords. Silence is the forbidden fruit of social dynamics. Everyone wants it, but few have the self-control to taste it. When you master it, you become the most intimidatingly respected person in the room. Your brain is a feedback loop. Every time you give in to a minor impulse, checking your phone, eating sugar, reacting to a notification, you are training your brain to be reactive. You are strengthening the neural pathways of a follower. Natural respect requires a different brain chemistry. It requires a high baseline of tonic dopamine, which is only achieved through restraint. When you intentionally deny yourself minor pleasures and impulses, you are performing a dopamine pivot. You are teaching your brain that you, the conscious mind, are the master of the biological machine. This internal shift changes your external appearance. Your eyes become steadier because they are no longer searching for the next hit of distraction. Your voice becomes more resonant because it isn't tight with the tension of hidden cravings. People cannot see your neural pathways, but they can feel the restraint in your presence. They sense that you are a man who has conquered himself, and there is no higher form of status than that. Self-control isn't just a behavior. It is a biological state of being that commands the room without a single word. Respect is tested in the moments between safety and danger. The average person spends their life in a state of pre-flinch, a constant, subtle readiness to react to anything unexpected. A loud noise, a sudden movement, or a sharp criticism causes them to physically and mentally jump. This flinch is the ultimate betrayal of self-control. It is a signal that your environment still owns your nervous system. Natural respect is granted to the man who does not flinch. This is the no-flinch mindset. When the world becomes chaotic, you remain still. This stillness is not a lack of awareness. It is the highest form of awareness. By refusing to react physically to sudden stimuli, you communicate that nothing in the external world is more powerful than your internal resolve. This can be practiced in the smallest ways. When a glass breaks, when someone shouts, when a door slams, watch your own body. If you jump, you have lost a micro battle of self-control. By training yourself to remain physically unmoved by the unexpected, you build a gravity of composure. People will look to you during a crisis not because you have the answers, but because your lack of a flinch tells them that the situation is under control. There is a psychological threshold that every provocateur tries to cross. They want to find the point where you lose your cool, where you start to stutter, or where your face turns red with anger. They are looking for your breaking point. The moment they find it, you lose all natural respect. The secret to natural respect is to have a threshold so high that it seems non-existent. When someone loses their temper with you, they are essentially throwing an emotional tantrum. If you respond with anger, you have joined them on their level. You have become two children fighting over a toy. But if you respond with a calm, analytical gaze, or even better, with a slight, curious silence, you have effectively ended the contest. You have demonstrated that their nuclear option, anger, has zero effect on your shield, self-control. This creates a massive power imbalance. The other person feels small, exposed, and foolish. They realize that they are fighting a mountain with a stick. Your refusal to be provoked is not a passive act. It is the most aggressive form of dominance possible. The face is a map of our insecurities. Most people use their facial expressions to smooth over social friction. They smile when they aren't happy. They nod to show they are listening. They look surprised to seem polite. This is facial leaking. It is a constant, low-level effort to manage how others see you. Natural respect flows to the man who practices the economy of expression. You don't perform for people. Your face remains a neutral, calm slate until you choose to change it. This doesn't mean you are a robot. It means you are the editor of your own broadcast. The still gaze. When someone is speaking, don't feel the need to nod or make listening noises. Just look at them. Your stillness forces them to be more precise with their words. The controlled smile. When you do smile, it should be a deliberate act of warmth, not a reflex of politeness. A rare smile from a controlled man is worth more than 1,000 constant grins from a pleaser. By controlling your micro-expressions, you create an air of mystery and weight. People cannot read you easily, which forces them to respect you more. They have to work to understand your internal state, and in that work, they subconsciously acknowledge your higher status. The modern man is a reaction machine. He wakes up and reacts to his alarm. He reacts to his notifications. He reacts to the news, the weather, and the traffic. By the time he starts his day, his mental energy is already depleted. He has given away fragments of his soul to 1,000 different distractions. Natural respect is impossible for someone who is so easily triggered. To build it, you must practice strategic apathy. You must consciously decide that 99% of what happens in the world is not worthy of your attention. When a scandal breaks, when a rumor spreads, or when a trend explodes, be the one who knows nothing about it. This lack of current information isn't ignorance. It is a display of priority. It signals that your internal mission is so compelling that you don't have space for the trivial. While others are gossiping or panicking about the event of the day, you remain focused on your own path. This detachment creates a massive status gap. People realize that while they are consumers of noise, you are a producer of signal. They will start coming to you to find out what actually matters because they trust your filter more than their own. The nice guy is a man who says yes to everyone except himself. He believes that by being helpful and available, he will earn respect. The opposite is true. Availability breeds contempt. If you are always there, always willing, and always reachable, your value drops to zero. You become a commodity, like air, necessary perhaps, but never appreciated until it's gone. Self-control is the ability to say the sacred no. It is the power to turn down opportunities, invitations, and requests that do not align with your values. Every time you say no to a low-value activity, you are saying yes to your own sovereignty. When you start saying no, without offering a desperate list of excuses, people's perception of you shifts. They stop seeing you as a tool to be used and start seeing you as a person with a boundary. They realize that your time and your presence are scarce resources. In economics, scarcity creates value. In psychology, scarcity creates respect. A man who can control his desire to be liked long enough to say no is a man who will eventually be followed. Natural respect is often settled before the first word is spoken. It is decided by how you occupy the physical space around you. Most people shrink into themselves. They round their shoulders, they cross their limbs, they try to take up as little space as possible so as not to offend anyone. This is the body language of the subordinate. The man of self-control practices total ownership. This doesn't mean being aggressive or man-spreading. It means occupying your natural volume with zero apology. The pillar posture. Imagine a string pulling the crown of your head toward the sky. Your spine is straight, not because you are tense, but because you are centered. The heavy limbs. Move your arms and legs as if they have actual weight. Avoid jerky, bird-like movements. When you move with the momentum of a large ship, not a speedboat. The open frame. Keep your chest and neck exposed. This signals that you are not in a defensive posture. You are comfortable in your environment, which forces everyone else to wonder why they are so nervous. By controlling your physical presence, you change the atmosphere of the room. You aren't taking space from others. You are simply owning the space that belongs to you. This calm confidence creates a vacuum that others feel compelled to fill with respect. They look at you and see a man who is at home anywhere, and that is a man they cannot help but admire. In a world of instant messaging and rapid-fire debate, the most powerful thing you can do is wait. Most people treat conversation like a game of hot potato. The moment a question or a statement is thrown at them, they feel a desperate need to throw it back. They speak to avoid the discomfort of silence, often saying things they later regret. The man of natural respect uses the wait principle. When someone finishes speaking, he does not immediately jump in. He breathes. He looks the person in the eye for a heartbeat longer than expected. He processes. This pause is not a sign of slow thinking. It is a sign of high-level filtering. It tells the other person, what you said is being weighed. I am not a machine that just spits out data. I am a judge who renders a verdict. This creates an immense amount of pressure on the speaker. They begin to wonder if they said something foolish. They begin to reevaluate their own words. By the time you finally speak, your words carry 10 times the weight because they were born from silence, not from a reflex. Most people spend a vast amount of mental energy hiding their mistakes. They believe that to be respected, they must appear perfect. When they fail, they make excuses, they blame the system, or they point fingers at others. This is a massive leak of self-control. It shows that you are afraid of the consequences of your own actions. Natural respect is granted to the man who practices radical ownership. When you make a mistake, you don't hide it. You don't offer a 10-minute explanation. You simply state, I made a mistake. Here is how I will fix it. This level of honesty requires a terrifying amount of self-control. It means killing your ego in public, but the effect on others is profound. When you admit a fault without flinching, you demonstrate that your self-worth is not tied to being right. It is tied to being true. People stop trying to find cracks in your armor because you've already shown them where the cracks are. By owning your failures, you become bulletproof. You remove the leverage anyone has over you, and you replace it with the unshakable respect of a man who cannot be shamed. Self-control is not just a mental game. It is a physical habit. You cannot have a strong mind in a soft body. If you cannot control your desire for comfort, for the warm bed, the sugary snack, or the easy path, your authority in a social setting will always be a facade. Natural respect is the external radiation of internal friction. You must intentionally put yourself in situations that require physical self-restraint. The cold exposure. When you stand under a freezing shower and force your breath to remain calm, you are training your nervous system for the next time someone shouts at you in a meeting. The fast. When you are hungry but refuse to eat until a specific time, you are teaching your impulse brain that the sovereign mind is in charge. The final rep. When your muscles are screaming to stop and you do one more with perfect form, you are building the no-flinch muscles. These rituals change the way you carry yourself. People can sense the hardness beneath the surface. They see a man who is comfortable with discomfort. They realize that if you can control the primal urges of your own body, controlling a social interaction is child's play for you. Your discipline becomes your aura. One of the most difficult things to control is the urge to be seen. We want to be at every meeting, every party, and every conversation to ensure we aren't forgotten. This is the fear of missing out, FOMO, and it is a reaction-chasing trap. Natural respect is built through strategic absence. A man of self-control knows when to leave. He knows when to say no to an invitation simply to protect his time and focus. When you aren't always available, your presence becomes an event. People begin to value the time they do have with you because they know you aren't desperate for their company. By controlling your urge to be included, you become the includer. You shift from someone who is invited to someone who is sought. Respect lives in the space you leave behind when you walk out of the room. Your voice is the primary vehicle for your authority, but for most men, it is a leaky faucet. When they are nervous, their pitch rises. When they are angry, their volume explodes. When they want approval, they end their sentences with a rising question mark. This is a total loss of self-control. Natural respect is granted to the master of tone. This man has conquered the biological urge to shout or shrink. The downward inflection. A man of control ends his sentences with a slight drop in pitch. He doesn't ask for permission to be heard. He states a reality. The low-volume power. Most people think shouting is a sign of strength. It is actually a sign of desperation. It is the sound of a man who has lost control of the room and is trying to claw it back. The most respected man in the room often speaks just softly enough that people have to lean in to hear him. He forces the world to quiet down to meet his level. By controlling your vocal cords, you are signaling that your internal engine is running smoothly, even under load. You don't need to bark to be obeyed. Your calmness is the command. The average person is a judgment machine. They see someone make a mistake and they gossip. They see someone with a different opinion and they attack. They are constantly reacting to the moral failures of others. This is a massive drain on self-control because you are essentially letting other people's behavior dictate your emotional state. Natural respect belongs to the non-judgmental observer. You see the chaos, the mistakes, and the insecurities of others, and you simply observe. You don't feel the need to fix them, mock them, or argue with them. This detachment is a superpower. When you don't judge people, they feel naked in your presence. They realize that their usual tricks and tantrums don't trigger you. This makes them feel a strange, subconscious urge to be better around you. By controlling your urge to judge, you become a mirror. People look at you and see their own lack of self-control reflected back. They respect you because you represent the stability they lack in themselves. There is a childish part of the ego that believes winning a dispute means having the last word. This part of you will keep a useless argument going for hours just to feel a momentary sense of victory. This is a catastrophic failure of self-control. It shows that your ego is more important than your time or your mission. A man of natural respect knows how to let the other person win the noise. He realizes that if the argument is beneath him, continuing it only lowers his status. He is comfortable ending an exchange with a simple, "I hear you. I'll take that into consideration," or even just a nod and a walk away. By giving up the last word, you are taking the last action. You are the one who decides the interaction is over. You leave the other person shouting into a vacuum, looking desperate and foolish. While they are still fighting, you have already moved on to the next objective. This is the ultimate self-control, the ability to let someone believe they won because you are too busy actually winning in the real world. We have talked about the poker face, but natural respect requires a poker heart. This is the ability to monitor your internal physiological response, your heart rate, your sweat, your shallow breathing, and manually override it. In a high-pressure meeting or a confrontation, the first thing that happens is your body prepares for a sprint. Your heart starts to hammer. If you don't control this, it will eventually bleed into your voice and your movements. The man of self-control uses combat breathing. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out. This is a physical hack that forces the parasympathetic nervous system to take over. By manually lowering your heart rate, you are cooling your brain. You can see the situation with a level of clarity that the heated person cannot. This physiological mastery is the foundation of the ice that people see in your veins. They don't know how you stay so calm. They just know that you are the only one who can be trusted when the pressure is on. One of the greatest leaks of self-control is the fear of being alone. Most people are socially incontinent. They cannot go a single day without the constant chatter of others, the validation of a group, or the noise of a digital feed. This dependency makes them weak. If you need people, you can be controlled by people. Natural respect is forged in social fasting. This is the practice of intentional isolation. By spending time in total silence, away from the opinions and eyes of others, you rebuild your internal sovereignty. You learn to listen to your own voice again. When you return to society after a fast, you carry a different energy. You aren't hungry for attention because you've already fed yourself. You aren't desperate for a reaction because you've become comfortable with the void. This independence is magnetic. People can sense that you don't need the room to like you, and because you don't need them, they find themselves instinctively wanting to earn your approval. Your self-control in isolation creates your authority in the crowd. Eye contact is the most primal form of social communication, and most people fail at it in one of two ways. They are either too shifty, signaling submissiveness, or too staring, signaling insecure aggression. Both are a loss of self-control. The man of natural respect uses the steady gaze. It is the eyes of a man who is observing, not competing. The blink threshold. In a conversation, the person who blinks more often is usually the one under more stress. By consciously slowing your blink rate, you signal to your own brain and the other person's that you are in total control of the environment. The soft focus. Don't pierce people with your eyes. That looks like you're trying too hard. Instead, look through them with a relaxed focus. This is often called the predator's gaze. It's calm because it knows it has the upper hand. By controlling your eyes, you control the information flow of the interaction. You see everything, but you give away nothing. This visual stillness is unnerving to the weak and deeply respected by the strong. It says, I see you exactly as you are, but you cannot see into me unless I allow it. The most dangerous moments in your life are the peaks of emotion, the high of a great victory and the low of a bitter defeat. In these moments, your executive brain is offline and your reactive brain is in the driver's seat. A man of self-control masters the decision-making gap. He makes it a law of his life never to commit, never to promise, and never to attack in the heat of the moment. The 24-hour rule. If a situation makes you feel a surge of anger or a rush of excitement, you wait 24 hours before taking action. The cooling period. While others are rushing to capitalize on a moment or lash out at an insult, you stay silent. You let the emotional chemicals drain out of your system. When you finally act, your decision is cold, calculated, and final. People begin to respect your yes and fear your no because they know it wasn't a reflex, it was a verdict. They realize that they cannot manipulate you through your emotions because you have built a dam between your feelings and your actions. The final stage of self-control is the death of performance. Most of what we call personality is just a performance designed to get a reaction. We tell jokes to be seen as funny. We act tough to be seen as strong. We play the victim to be seen as sympathetic. Natural respect comes when you stop performing. When you are the same person in a room full of people as you are when you are alone. This requires the ultimate self-control, the ability to let go of the image you want people to see. When you stop trying to seem like anything, you finally start to be something. You become authentic. There is a massive, silent power in a man who isn't trying to prove anything. He doesn't explain his worth, he doesn't brag about his wins, and he doesn't hide his scars. He simply is. This authenticity creates a level of respect that no amount of acting can ever achieve. You are no longer chasing the world. The world is finally forced to meet you on your terms. We have dismantled the illusion that respect is something you extract from others. We have proven that it is a byproduct of the war you win within yourself every single morning. Let us consolidate the pillars of the sovereign mind. Natural respect is built on three foundations: stillness, scarcity, and silence. Stillness, your ability to remain physically and emotionally unmoved while the world around you is in a state of frantic reaction. Scarcity, the understanding that your time, your words, and your attention are high-value assets that must be earned, not given away for free. Silence, the courage to let a void exist without feeling the desperate need to fill it with noise or excuses. When these three pillars are in place, you stop being a competitor in the social game. You become the administrator of the game. You are no longer chasing the natural respect of others because you have achieved something far more valuable: natural self-respect. And as the ancient law of the inner Citadel states, the world will always treat you exactly how you treat yourself. If you treat your impulses as your masters, the world will treat you as a servant. If you treat your impulses as your subjects, the world will treat you as a king. Watching this is not enough. To build the inner Citadel, you must draw blood, not physically, but through the sacrifice of your comfort. Here is your 30-day forge. If you can complete this, your presence will change so drastically that people will ask you what has happened to you. The 3-second rule. In every conversation, wait exactly 3 seconds after someone finishes speaking before you respond. Practice the wait principle until it becomes your default setting. The digital fast. Do not check any social media or news for the first 2 hours of your day. Reclaim the morning for your own thoughts. The no-flinch protocol. When you feel an impulse to itch, to check your phone, to complain about the cold, do not act on it for 60 seconds. Observe the urge. Realize it is not you, and let it pass. The minimalist speech. Cut your word count by 30%. Say what you need to say, then stop. No fillers, no ums, no justifications. By the end of these 30 days, you will have rewired your nervous system. You will have moved from a state of reactivity to a state of intentionality. You will find that you no longer care about being respected, and that is exactly when the respect will arrive. As we close this chapter, remember that self-control is not a destination. It is a daily maintenance of your internal borders. There will be days when you fail. There will be moments when you flinch, when you shout, and when you chase a reaction. The difference between the weak man and the man of the inner Citadel is what happens after the fail. The weak man gives up. The man of control simply observes the failure, notes the leak in his armor, and returns to his post. You are a biological machine with a divine spark of consciousness. Your job is to make sure the machine serves the spark, not the other way around. When you walk out into the world today, do not look for a place to fit in. Do not look for a group to validate you. Look for opportunities to be still. Look for opportunities to be silent. Look for opportunities to exercise the power of no. The world is hungry for leaders who are not for sale. Be that man. Be the anchor in the storm. Be the one who stays calm when the lights go out. This is the end of the video, but the beginning of your authority. The Citadel is yours. Guard it. If this resonated with you, it's because you are tired of the noise. You are tired of the chase. Welcome home. 1. Subscribe to Inner Citadel. If you are ready to stop being a spectator and start being a sovereign. 2. Like the video, to signal to the algorithm that this is the frequency the world needs. 3. Comment. Sovereign. If you are committing to the 30-day forge, the path is difficult, but the reward is a life that belongs to you. We will see you in the next deep dive. Stay unmoved.